Hello, my name is Selena.
And my name's Theoni, and you are listening to Piping Hot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Piping Hot. We're so excited that you are here to join us today.
I know. I'm honestly am very excited for this episode because I've been dying to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been waiting for so long for it. But outside of recording from the podcast, this weekend has not been it. These past few weeks have not been it. You guys have heard me talk on the podcast like very vaguely about work because I don't want to get sued. That's not getting any better. I feel like I am just so tired and burnt out and whatever. So I went to Target this. Oh my God. You guys hear that? I literally can't. But this weekend I did go to Target to cope a little. And I've been getting some really cute stuff for my new apartment come September.
What else did you get?
So I'll have to show you a haul later.
Okay.
But I got like these two like artwork things. I got like a pot for some flowers, and then I got some throw pillows. So
cute.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully it'll be good. But I'm going for a little bit of a darker, earthier vibe than like the bright white beige everything. So still neutral, but just a little more like, I would never incorporate color. Yeah, different textures, materials, not colors though.
Never color.
Never color.
Yeah. You will not find a single fucking color in Theoni's house.
Never. But I do honestly want to get my color analysis done. Have you seen that on TikTok?
I do as well. I have seen it. I think I'm like a cool winter. Like if I had to not pay the $300 fee. Have you seen how expensive it is?
Uh-huh.
It's so expensive. If I had to not pay the expensive fee, I would say I'm a cool winter. Whatever that fucking means.
I know. I just need the swatches and then I'll do it myself, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I honestly though, I really want to do it because I think it'd be very helpful to me. But I can't justify that cost. It's so expensive.
It literally is so expensive. You want to know what I did just book the other day because of my friend Katie?
A massage or a facial?
I booked a scalp massage. One of those things with the water and the scrape and the camera. Yeah. She found a place that does it like 70 minutes for $80. Which
that's a deal.
Yeah, so it's really not that expensive. So I was like, I feel like I just have to do it like once, you know? So
very nice. You'll have to tell me your experience.
Oh, I will. Yeah, that's not until I couldn't get an appointment, I think, until like August. So yeah. Well, they had some appointments during the day, but obviously I'm not gonna take a day off of work for a scalp massage. So yeah.
Nice. Wow, that's exciting.
I know. So it should be fun.
Nice. What else have you been up to? I was looking at the calendar. I was like, when was the last time we even fucking recorded? I feel like it's been so long.
No, I know. And I think I told you, I'm just like going through it right now. And so I feel like I say this more often than I should, which may be a problem, but I haven't talked to anybody really the past week. Like, and then I feel like our recording period was farther apart than it usually is, so it just feels like I haven't talked to you in a while. And honestly, I haven't talked to anybody unless I've had plans with them here. Yeah.
In your own little bubble.
No, literally. Yeah, but anyway. It's like something's wrong with my body. I literally can't stop yawning. And it makes it seem like I'm crying because, like, the tears. But
no, you're good.
Anyways, how's everything with you? What's new? How's life? How's your family?
It's good. It's good. I'm, like, so tired. My new job is good. It's just, like, the adjustment period where it's, like, I have to get used to, like, a new routine. Mm-hmm. I have to go in the office, so I have to figure out, like, food now because I used to always just cook at home. And so now it's just like a lot of different adjustments. It's all good, but it's like so tiring. Like it's so fucking tiring where it's like I just need to rot. And that's what I did yesterday, which was so nice. Like
yay.
I just need to lay in bed and rot because I've also been just so busy
Ugh.
outside of work as well. What have I been doing? So I went to go see some friends. They had a gig at a brewery here, which is super
I
fun.
did see that.
It was super, super fun. And then I went swimming with some friends. I celebrated a different friend's birthday. It's been super rainy here, which hasn't been fun. But it's fine. It's cooler, which is nice at least. Cora is in dog classes, so we're doing that every Saturday now.
Why
Only for a
is she in
couple
dog
weeks, though.
classes?
Because homegirl does not know how to walk on a fucking leash, okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
She thinks it's a fucking race, okay? And I'm like, we're just trying to take a stroll through the neighborhood. And she's like, I need to go 20 miles an hour. Yeah, so we are in dog classes. It's only about 3 weeks, but we're missing the last week. So we have to reschedule that and stuff. So I mean, it's good. We had our first session just yesterday, I think.
Okay, nice. Hopefully
So
it's
it was
like
good.
helpful.
Yeah, she's already improving and stuff. So that's like really encouraging to see.
Good.
And then this Friday, I'm going to a comedy show with Jack. So that'll be fun.
Fun. Anyone in particular or just like a...
Yeah, we're seeing, I don't know if you know him. His name is Hassan Minaj.
Yeah, I know Hassan Minaj.
Yeah, no. So we went to his other show when he came here last, I think last year or the year before. And he's coming back again to Minneapolis. I was like, oh my God, we have to go. I just love him and he's super fun.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
Yeah. So,
Date
but I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Nice.
it. Yeah, I know. Busy. So.
I could not say the same.
I feel like you're busy. You have a lot of plans coming up.
Coming up, girl.
Yeah, that's still a lot.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyways, what are you reading, watching, listening to, consuming?
Okay, let me see. So I think the last time that we talked, I was still reading A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. And I finished that. It was fine. I think it was just written in a different style. So it's like the main character is like writing a journal and she's recounting everything that's happened. And so it's not like you're in the action. It's really more like internal dialogue of like reflecting on like all of the stuff that had happened to her. But yeah, no, it was fine. I think just by the end I was just like kind of over it. But it was still written beautifully and it was fine.
Nice.
We read The Trouble with Hating You by Sajini Patel. I think is how you
was
say
that
it?
this chunk of time? Wow.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yes,
Man, that book
right?
sucked, you guys.
Yes,
that book was bad. It was bad. It was funny because how me and Selena do our buddy reads is we will like have a certain amount of chapters or pages every day and then we'll discuss at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I was trying to defend the main character for so hard for so long because of her backstory, which is okay because I think given her backstory and I kind of related to it, so I was like, okay, we're gonna whatever. But man, she is so annoying and selfish. Like by the end of the book, I was like, I hate you. And then the more I thought about it, the worse it got. I was like, man, you suck. Like,
it just like got worse. Like I couldn't believe how worse it got, because I was like, I was giving it the benefit of the doubt where it's like, oh, she's just setting all of this up and then it's gonna resolve and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
It never fucking resolved.
No, it never
like
did.
it never resolved, and I was like, what? Yeah, it was an interesting read.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I honestly, it was this month, but I've been so busy and just like my mind's been everywhere that I think I just blocked it out. I was like, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And then what else? Oh, and then I'm currently reading Heartless Hunter by Kristen, I don't know how to say her last name, Ciccarelli or whatever. It's a young adult fantasy. I'm reading it with a friend right now. It's fine, I guess. I don't know how I keep picking these like not great books. Like I just need something to like rock my world. And I just like, yeah. Everything's been so mid. Like, that's my problem.
Yeah. No,
So,
I feel that.
But yeah, what have you been reading?
Well, since it's been that me depresso lately, I've only been like reading nothing. So
Okay, nice.
yeah. I like will read it. I'm still on the stupid mother effing luck of the draw book that's been sitting right there. If you guys are watching, right there for the past like 2 months, I have made progress, and it's like a good book, I guess. But I can't. I'm just not motivated to read.
Like, no energy to like pick it up. No, I get it.
We'll get there eventually, but that time is not now. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. So that's me.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah. What are you watching?
Oh, what am I watching? Nothing much really, other than what we're gonna chat about today. But yeah, have you been watching anything else?
Just the Kardashians and Gilmore Girls. So,
nice.
I hate the Kardashians, but it is just like fun. I don't know. It's just like that show is how I would describe my brain right now. It's just like rot.
Yeah. I was garbage. Just gonna say it's a good show for brain rot. Like, it's just like
exactly. I don't have to think at all.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, totally.
What have you been listening to?
Let me see what I've been listening to. Please hold.
Okay.
I honestly forget which of these I've talked about.
Yeah, just bring them up again.
Okay, perfect. So I have been listening to Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter.
Fantastic song.
That song has grown on me a lot.
Yeah.
I will say, like, because when the music video first came out and I listened to it, I was like, I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't like obsessed right away, but now I definitely like it.
It's catchy. It's really
so catchy.
You know what's so interesting about that? The first time I listened to it, I was like, oh my gosh, she sounds like Casey Musgraves, which is interesting because like the way that like Sabrina is going through genres is very interesting to me because she's not like sticking to one, because I feel like Espresso is very, very like Doja Cat vibes, and this is like very like Casey Musgraves, like country. So I think it's so interesting the way that she's like flipping, but she's not like defining herself in a genre. And I wonder if like that's to her advantage.
Well, I feel like it is, because I think if she... I don't know. I think it is because it gives her more room to grow. Because obviously she's been in the game for so long that people don't even realize. But I think now that she's more mainstream, I feel like setting herself up to be in a place where she can go in a bunch of different avenues is like very smart and good.
Yes, and the thing is she can also do those genres really well.
Yeah,
like her voice fits it so well.
Yeah, exactly. What else have I been listening to? I've been really vibing with L'amour de ma vie by Billie Eilish.
Yes.
I also, partially I think I like it because I can sing it well, not to toot my own horn. But
Yeah, very nice.
And then have I talked about the song Summertime by Flo?
No, I don't think I've heard that by them yet.
If you guys are an ex-Cheetah Girl lady, you need to listen to this song, because objectively it's a good current R&B song, but it also feels so nostalgic for me to like the Cheetah Girls or something like that. Like, I don't know, it's a really, really good song.
Nice.
I've been listening to some August Moon, and then I've been listening to Love On by Selena Gomez. So...
Interesting. I don't think I've actually listened to that song in full.
Okay, I genuinely think the way that she has been marketing her songs is like not it, because I honestly think Love On is like comparable to Espresso in how like catchy it is, how good it is, how fun the music video is. And I feel like that should have been a much bigger hit for Selena, and it just like did not at all. And I think partly that's in part to like the marketing, because like no one even knew it came out when it came out, and then there was no like promo. It just kind of happened and then was done. So but I really like it a lot.
I guess I literally have not even listened to that song in full. I think I know the hook, but like I haven't. I couldn't even hum it to you right now. Like, I don't know. Very nice.
So that's what I've been listening to.
Those are good picks.
What have you been listening to?
What I've been listening to. So a lot of oldies, some new stuff. The thing is though too is that I'm trying it out, but I've switched to Apple Music for a little bit.
Why though? Why?
For a little bit.
What? Selena?
I got new AirPods, and so they gave me 6 months for free, and I'm a whore for free stuff, so yeah. I obviously activated my 6 months for free of Apple Music.
Yeah.
Just to try it out. And also, I've just been kind of like meh with Spotify. Like, it hasn't been giving me great stuff, and I just keep being stuck in like the stuff that I'm listening to, so I'm just like, what is happening? I don't know, but so I've been listening to some Fletcher. I've been listening to I Don't Do Drugs by Doja Cat and Ariana Grande. Okay. I've been listening to Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And then I've also been listening to Genesis Part 2 by Ray.
That's another thing I forgot to mention. Sorry.
Yeah. It was so good because she only performed it in concert or at her like orchestra hall concert at like in London somewhere at the Royal something hall or whatever, and she's never actually released it, and so she finally released it, and it's so good. So
okay, I finally listened to Ray's like big album finally.
Yeah,
it is a really cool album.
Yeah,
like there's one song called that I've been listening to a lot lately. It's called Oscar winning Tears. That song is so good.
Yeah. Have you heard the story that like her album, like that album was sitting collecting dust for years?
That's
like
insane to me.
Her record wouldn't let her release it, and so she finally went independent and she finally fucking released it. And to think that like that album was sitting collecting dust for years and
look at
years.
how many awards it got.
Yes. Like it's crazy to me. Literally crazy. So
yeah. So go Ray.
Yeah. Very nice. Do we want to go into pop culture?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Wait, do you still have Spotify?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, like, when I go to the gym, I'll listen to, like, my K-pop mix on Spotify. But, like, everything else, I'm still listening to Apple Music. I'm just trying it out. I don't know.
Yeah. No, fair. All right. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I can go first. I have, like 3 tiny things.
Me too.
So it's not like too crazy, but my first one is that Billy Ray Cyrus filed for divorce.
I have that one too.
Just 7 months after marrying Fire Rose, which I honestly didn't know that was her name.
Well, I don't know. I think that's her artist name, but that name is just bizarre. And honestly, I, of course, don't want people to get divorced, but, like, that relationship was already very, very creepy to me. Yeah. Mostly on Billy Ray's end, because they met on the set of Hannah Montana, like we've talked about, and that just feels really gross.
Really icky, yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Miley's...
can't believe that was only 7 months ago. Like, I feel like I've lived a life. Like, no, what the heck?
Literally. And apparently Miley Cyrus in some interview was like, hopefully that's the first step in the right direction. The divorce. She said that.
Okay.
Well, because there's all that tension in the Cyrus family, so
okay.
Yeah, crazy.
Nice. What's your first one?
My first one, Kate Middleton, appeared at the Troop of Colors. So
I did see that.
She's alive, and it's her.
Yeah, okay, guys. It is her. I think she also released a statement on her first cancer treatments as well. I did not watch that. Yeah, I didn't watch it, or I didn't read like what the statement was about, but I heard that she also did that. But yeah, I did see those pictures as well.
Yeah. So. I'm glad she's okay and she looked happy. Yeah. I hope she's doing well, like behind the public eye too. But I still agree by what we said last time that like the way they blew that up felt so, or like the way that they were so secretive made no sense. Like how they handled the media storm made no sense. Like I don't know, stupid. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, my next one is it's not confirmed, but it's another divorce rumor that Ben Affleck and J-Lo are in the process of getting divorced because they're selling their house. And so everyone is speculating. Again, it's not confirmed. But honestly, like, it would... I mean, not that it would make sense, but, like, to see, like, just how much J-Lo has been struggling with, like, all of her music, the movies that she put out earlier this year, it's just, like, it's like crumbling in front of her.
No, I
It's
never
crazy.
thought we would witness all this downfall from her like at
Me
once.
neither.
Like, it's just going.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, it's so wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what she's doing, but maybe she needs to get a better team or something.
Yeah, something, literally.
Yeah. Okay, what's your second one?
Okay, my second and last one here, because I had the Billy Ray one as well.
Yes, yep.
We have a couple of Ariana Grande things we need to talk about, okay? Number one, the Boy Is My music video was released.
Yes,
Can we just talk about this?
Yes.
I loved that music video. I thought it was so good. I thought it was just so funny. I don't know. And like I just think, did we talk about this last time? Okay.
Because it literally just came out last week.
Oh yeah, and we were waiting to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's literally just iconic. I really just don't care what anyone says, because she had Brandy and Monica come back to be the reporters.
Cute. Yeah.
She had Penn Badgley in it, like the outfits, the vibe, and then she did the performance on Jimmy Fallon as well. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
It's all very cohesive.
I thought it was
happy.
So good.
I'm happy that that's her next single, because Yes and was not it. So
see, I liked Yes and. I just didn't like Yes and with Mariah Carey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like my favorite song off of the album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just really like The Boy Is Mine, and I feel like that is very much like Ariana Grande. Like, it makes sense for her.
Totally.
No, I love the direction that she took on the music video. I think it was very clever of her to make it more campy, and casting Penn was really clever as well, because he stars in You on Netflix, which is all about like stalker shit, and so I thought it was just like very fitting. Yes, I thought it was all just like very, very fitting and great, because like The Boy Is Mine can be taken literally, or it can be taken like in a very fun, campy way, and I'm happy she went with the latter.
Me too.
But yeah, it was good.
Her music videos though, this like era, have been so good. Yeah. Like, from Yes and to We Can't Be Friends to The Boys Went. Like, they're all so good, but very unique also.
Yes, like, whoever she's partnering with is doing a great job.
I think his name is Chris something, because she posts him all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, they're doing a great job.
They're killing it, yeah. And then the other Ariana Grande related thing to bring up, she was a guest on Penn Badgley's podcast called Pod Crushed.
Yes.
And I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I saw a bunch of clips, and it looked like it was a really good interview. Like, she bleeped out the name of the place, but she shat on Page 6 basically. And then she kind of talked on, not a ton in specifics, but talked about like some of the allegations and the things that came up from the Quiet on Set documentary, which I think was really cool. She finally got to talk about it, and it made me really sad, because I think she's an example of one of those people where I'm sure there's a lot more people at Nickelodeon where they didn't speak out, and those people were getting crap for not speaking out. But like, you could tell it was like really affecting her, and she's like, I saw that and I was like, wow, this was not okay to be doing as a young girl. And like, so I just think it's just a reminder to like, just because someone's not saying something doesn't mean they're not like thinking about it or dealing with it or whatever.
Also, it's also not a light topic to talk about. No. I don't think anyone ever wants to revisit the trauma that they've gone through.
Literally.
Like, it's like, so, I mean, it makes sense why she wouldn't want to talk about it. Like, it's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about, and also to like reconcile, to be like, yeah, that happened to me. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. And so, yeah, I agree. I think people need to just chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, why do you fucking care so much that she didn't say anything? Like, clearly she fucking knows, because she went through it. Like, I don't. Like, what more do you want from her? I don't understand.
Yeah, people love to hate her, but it's
yeah.
I can't. Yeah. But yeah, that's that.
Very nice. Yeah, I have not listened to the episode yet, but I have seen like little clips here and there, but like I haven't listened to the full episode.
Okay.
But I probably should. And then my last one is that it was revealed, or at least she had come out, that Halsey was diagnosed with lupus. Which is crazy.
I think she has lupus and cancer.
She does, yeah. Because it was like, I don't remember what the name of it was. It's really long though. But yeah, I think it was at the end of like 2022. That's when it kind of like got into the height of like all of her medical stuff, which is like so crazy. Like,
I hope
oh my
she's
gosh,
doing okay. I can't even imagine.
That's so scary. And she's like not old. She's like only a few years older than us.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So, but yeah, that's all that I have for pop culture.
Alrighty, me too. Shall we dive into our topic?
Yes. So, we're back at it again.
Yes.
With Bridgerton season. Oh my God, what am I talking about? Season 2. I was trying to combine 2 and 3 together. Season 3, part 2, because Netflix sucks. Okay. But yeah, we're back at it. It aired this past Thursday, and so now the full season is out on Netflix, and we are here to talk about the last 4 episodes that came out.
I guess we can start with overall thoughts.
Yeah.
I have very mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out watching the first episode and I was like, this is so much better than the other 4. Like I feel like this is good. But then like I kept watching and I was like, oh, I changed my mind. Like I'm just really, I don't know. I'm left wanting more and honestly feeling really disappointed. And a big part of my disappointment is like where I can see them setting up the future of the show as well. And it felt so chaotic. And it almost like the first 4 episodes we had problems with because it was like, it's all over the place, right? But then the second part almost felt like it was like a Penelope story, not a Penelope and Colin story. It was like just about Penelope, which to their whatever, I did like Penelope's like character development and all that, but like where was Colin's development? We got like two scenes, I think, where he really talked about his wounds and like what his actual issue was, but other than that, I didn't understand, and it felt so chaotic because we're still jumping through all these stories. Like if I have to see the Mondricks one more time in the next season, I'm actually gonna like cut up someone at Netflix, and like because I'm so over it. And I'll talk about this more as we get into the specifics of the episodes, but there were just so many storylines I just didn't feel were like made sense. Like the whole storyline with like Benedict, Tilly, and Paul, I didn't see the point in that, which I can understand if it's coming from the perspective like him exploring his like sexuality and stuff, but it didn't feel like, I don't know, it just didn't feel important, and it felt weirdly placed in this season because it was like we kind of gave focus to it, but then all of a sudden we would just get these random flash to their sex scenes, and I was like, they're having sex, and then it would be on to the next thing, and I was getting whiplash.
Yeah, like everyone was fighting for their lives, and then Benedict's just having a threesome over here. Like,
literally.
It was so fucking weird. It was so fucking weird.
Literally, it was.
This part 2, for me, felt like a completely different season, unfortunately. Like, I could not see the through line of one complete season, and it shows, unfortunately, like, that it was not cohesive. I agree that it was very, very clear that this was Penelope's story versus Colin's story, which I don't mind. I understand because she is Lady Whistledown, and I think that was the whole driving factor for season 2. So for us to see that fallout, like, okay, great. I understand that, right? Like, that's what they built up. But they didn't balance it out with Colin, which I agree.
Not at all.
And then I actually had more problems with this half than the first half, believe it or not. And I had a lot of problems with the first half too.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing with Violet and Francesca, I was so confused about it. Don't get me wrong. I think I really, really grew on Francesca and Lord Kilmartin in this second half. Like, I really, really liked the way that their story was developed, but Violet was just pissing me the fuck off. And, like, the way that she was addressing that relationship versus Penelope and Collins just felt so not Violet. And so I was just really
literally
off put by it.
I think you bringing that up is just a greater issue with the consistency of the characters from part one to part two, because as happy as I am that we got to see Francesca and Lord Kilmartin talking to each other and being more flirty and whatever, it was such a fast transition from where they were in part one that I was like, these feel like two completely different characters now all of a sudden. And I agree, Violet's reaction to their relationship felt completely different than like what her character would be. And I'll say that whole speech that Violet gave about how like Francesca taught her that love can be slow burning and blah blah blah. I'm like, why are you saying this to Francesca? Shouldn't you be saying that to Colin? Because I'm sorry, but Colin and Penelope's story is the definition of slow burn. Like I don't, you know.
Well, I think Violet needed to understand that herself, because she just believes that love is all fast burning, all consuming. Which that's fine. That's her history that she has with her husband. But then to like not support Francesca, plus in part one, I thought it was like Violet saw Francesca being happy because when Lord Kilmartin handed her that piano, she like rushed home to like play it, and Violet like realized that she was so happy, and like that was her definition of happy. I thought Violet was happy for her.
And then all of a sudden she wasn't anymore.
Yes. That's a whole nother can of worms that I will address in a second here.
Yeah.
My next thing that I had more problems with was Colin as well. Again, I think because this was such Penelope's story, we did not get to explore Colin as well. And unfortunately, he became a passive character that didn't have any role in this entire fucking season.
At all. And I'm like, so bummed because
like, it was it's like, why are we putting him in the back seat? I don't understand why he's being as passive as he is right now. I mean, the passive isn't bad, but also it's like he wasn't even fucking relevant for like
it's just so aggravating because you look at season 1 and 2 and the development of both like the Duke and Antony, but then it's like I do think that they set Colin up to have like a really good arc this season.
Yes,
like, it could have been good, and you see that when you see the conversations about with him and Penelope of him coming back being stoic or whatever because he, you know, like having a hard time showing his I don't know. I felt like it could have been something, and they just like did not give enough attention to it. So maybe if they had given him some more time versus a stupid Mondrix or the threesomes, we could have gotten that. But no,
I don't know. I just like I honestly could not grasp Colin's character. I was like, who the fuck are you anyway? Like, if I had to give like a speech on him and like his character arc and who he is and what he lives for, I literally could not tell you because it felt like he was a slippery fish. And like every time I caught him, I was like, oh my God, I understand. He'd disappear and it'd be something different. I'd be like,
I agree.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. A couple other things.
Yeah.
Penelope's groveling in part 2 was what I wanted from Colin in part 1. But I was just not vibing with it. I understand, again, right? It's Penelope's story. She's Lady Whistledown. She hasn't done all the great things, blah, 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 blah. But I think I just wanted more Colin. And I think that's another aspect of this, that where I feel like Penelope had to meet him where he was at. And I think he realizes this at the end of, episode 8 too in his speech, but we'll get there. I just like that was another part that I did not really like.
I totally agree, and it's interesting because based on what I was reading online afterwards, the fans of the books seem more upset, like very upset by this season versus any of the other seasons. Like, I think obviously there's always going to be those changes they make for film or whatever. And I think they understood it for the show in the past, but like, I think they changed so much and it really did not benefit the show at all. Like, because I think the conflicts played out in a really weird way because originally in the books, like, Penelope told Colin before they got married. So we didn't even get a happy wedding or like anything. And it just felt so misguided. And I think that plays into Eloise's role and all of that, which I'll get into later.
I don't know. I mean, I have heard from friends that the books are very, very different from the show and what they're adapting. So like I understand that they're changing shit. But I did not know that they changed that much for this third season.
Yeah, this season.
It's interesting too because Benedict, his book is actually third, and then Colin and Penelope's is fourth. So they skipped Benedict's and went to Colin and Penelope's, but I think they did that because of the way season 2 ended, which again makes sense if they're changing all this shit. Another thing too, which I think when I found this out, I was like, oh, this all makes sense. They changed showrunners for season 3.
Oh,
so that's probably why it feels so different because the showrunner is different and she's also writing episodes as well. So I don't know what her name is. It's like Jessica something. Yeah, Brown. Yeah. Because the other guy was like Chris Van something or whatever. He's no longer doing it. He did season 1 and 2, and this like Jessica girl came in and she's gonna do season 3 and 4, and you can really feel the difference.
100%. Yeah, that kind of tracks.
Yep. Yeah. So
those
really are all my overall thoughts. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Overall, I just feel pretty disappointed because I've always really liked Colin and Penelope, and it's just, I think this is one of those things where there is so much potential and they just dropped the ball in so many ways. And honestly, I'm afraid for the other seasons because based on what people are saying, so much has been changed and happened that I'm like, I don't know how they're going to get back on track because now this season has spread out all these storylines in so many different directions that I'm like, how are you still going to focus on each couple? I don't understand. So
I have no clue. So
anyways, okay. I will start with my long summary of episode 5, and then I just have a few thoughts. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll try to read it fast, but it's very long. So sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. The episode begins with Colin announcing their engagement to his family, which mostly everyone is excited about except for Eloise. Eloise then expresses how shocked and betrayed she feels by Colin and Penelope's feelings for each other. Eloise then says she's going to tell Colin about Whistledown if she doesn't. We then see news of the engagement spread to Benedict and Tilly, the Featheringtons, and the Queen, who is pleased there is no focus on Francesca's match. We then see Kate and Anthony wondering how to share news that they're expecting. We then see Eloise ranting to Cressida about how she feels her and Penelope's friendship was a ruse to get to Colin, and Cressida shares her parents want to marry her off to the elderly Lord Greer. We then see Portia confront Penelope about being upset she finds out from the engagement through Whistledown. As Portia goes on about how Penelope is stupid for following fantasy and not security, Colin comes in and confronts Portia back, defending his love for Penelope. We then see Colin lead Penelope into a room where Penelope expresses just how meaningful it was to have Colin stand up for her. Then Colin positions her in front of the mirror and compliments her. Then they begin kissing and eventually end up having sex. Next, Francesca and John walk throughout the town and discuss what life at home has been like for Francesca. John then brings up marriage and Francesca shares she is not opposed. Eloise and Kate then share a short conversation where Kate instructs Eloise to talk to Colin about how she feels. Colin and Penelope are then seen cuddling on the couch, and right as Penelope is about to reveal her secret to him, a knock is sounded at the door. Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury then discuss Whistledown and what the end goal is, to which Queen Charlotte says it is time to strike because she is vulnerable and for the fun of the game. Eloise and Colin then discuss the new relationship with Penelope, and it ends in Colin apologizing for not sharing his feelings sooner. Cressida is then discussing marriage requirements and hearing what her life will be like with Lord Greer. The Featheringtons are then seen discussing Whistledown when Portia reminds the girls that Featheringtons support each other, and when Prudence and Philippa look confused, Portia admits to being unkind, but that it has to stop now. We get a small scene with the Mondricks, which no one gives a crap about. The party then begins where Penelope spots Cressida and Eloise and decides to be okay with it. Lady Danbury says their match was always clear as day, and Eloise blows off Cressida talking about Lord Greer. Eloise then tells Penelope she has until midnight to tell Colin, or she will. John then speaks to Francesca's family but can't find the words. A few awkward toasts are given by people. Cressida then tells Eloise that she plans to find Lady Whistledown and live off money elsewhere to avoid marrying Lord Greer. Eloise insults her intelligence and says she will never be able to do that. John finally tells the story about the mud on his boots and that he misses what's in front of him besides Francesca. The clock strikes midnight, and after overhearing people talk about the power being Whistledown would give a person, Cressida claims to be Whistledown. Kate and Anthony share their news, and as everything collides, Penelope passes out. So even just reading that, you can literally hear how disjointed and all over the place it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah.
don't understand what they were trying to do this season.
Either.
It's interesting, though, because out of all the episodes in part 2, I felt like 5 was the strongest, and then 6, 7, 8 was a hot fucking mess. But after you reading that, I was like, oh... No, 5 is a mess too. Like, 5 is a hot fucking mess. Yeah. Like, I was trying to, like, follow, like, Penn and Colin's storyline in that summary that you were saying. And I was like, wait, what do they do? What did that make sense? Like, I was just like...
I know.
So, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So I think in general, this episode just made me really frustrated by Eloise because she seemed like very petty and just not a good friend to Cressida. Yeah. And it just felt like a very different character to what we've seen in the past. Yeah. And I just feel like, I think later on in the episodes, we get a little bit more background as to like what she's actually feeling and a little bit more vulnerability. But I was just really frustrated. Like, first off, she had her like averse reaction to Colin and Penelope getting engaged. With that part, I could understand because it came from nowhere, but I was still like, what the heck? Yeah. Then they gave the speech when they got engaged, and she said, like, to always being truthful to each other or whatever. Yeah. That just felt like, it's so petty. Then she gives Penelope the deadline of midnight or whatever. And then it's just, like, I again, I have to say, I get why she's doing the things she's doing. I get why she's salty and all these things, but it just felt like so below Eloise what she was doing. I don't know.
I mean,
and I have more to say on that.
But. I mean, I don't, it was believable to me. Like, I was okay with it because Whistledown literally ruined her life last season by exposing Theo and her and being unchaperoned and all that stuff, and going to these like lectures of like free thought for women and blah 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 blah, which I think is what I really missed from Eloise, of kind of exploring that side of her, which felt really weird this season.
That we didn't get any of that. Yes.
So I think I was okay with it because she just knows the power that like Whistledown has. I think that was her way of forcing Penelope to tell Colin, who again then, like you said, she was blindsided because she didn't see that coming. So I guess, like, personally, like, I was fine with it, and it conveniently moved the plot a bit, so I guess I was fine with it.
And I can see what you're saying, and I think probably it would have seemed less annoying to me had we gotten a little bit more of the Eloise we got so much of last year, of like her doing all these things and having a storyline that felt very true to her, but we didn't get any of that. And then at the end, she's like, I don't know who I am or what I want to do, so I'm going to go to Scotland with Francesca. And I was like, I feel like that's just so contradictory, but whatever. Another reason Eloise did piss me off, though, was how she treated Cressida. Because I don't like Cressida, whatever. I have more on her later. But just every time Cressida was talking about literally being married off to an old man and all these horrible things, Eloise just kept blowing her off. And I was like... everything that is like so not girl friendship. I hated it. It was like everything I'm going through is more important. I'm not actually listening to anything you're saying, like,
which I think really pushed Cressida to do what she did. So I didn't blame her, and I think again it was just another plot device to like really push Cressida, which I really appreciated from her, and I think it made the second half of season 3 really interesting. But I agree, it was still really, really shitty on Eloise's part.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a couple things in this half or in this episode that made me like Colin. And this is the Colin that I wish we saw more of.
Okay.
And his internal struggle, because I think this would have made people fall in love with him. But we didn't get enough for anyone to give a crap.
Yeah.
So, like, the way that Colin stood up to Portia for Penelope and stuff like that, like, that was really earnest and good. And I think was so beautiful for their relationship, because that's the whole thing. Like, Colin sees Penelope, Penelope sees Colin, like, whatever. And then I will say, as a girl who loves to be validated, him just literally looking at her in the mirror and, like, throughout the whole time, just complimenting her and, like, saying all these nice things. I was like, see, this is why I like you, Colin. But it just... we didn't get enough with the two of them to make it feel as, like, believable and tense and as exciting as it could have been. But, like, the moment itself I thought was good. But again, like, the lead up and the lack of focus on their story, like, made it feel more lackluster than I think it could have been.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I guess I'm conflicted on the scene that you had mentioned with when he comes in and defends Penelope against that weird ass conversation that Penelope and Portia was having. I think I was like a little like, I was like, oh, that is very sweet, but also it's so Colin to come in and declare such big ass statements when in the past he's done that and he's been proven wrong, like especially with like Marina or whatever and stuff. So it's just like I wanted something more. Like, could he have learned like something beyond that, because I feel like that's a very old Colin thing to do, which is not a bad thing, but what else could we go to just elevate his character just a little more?
But that's what I mean. It's like the action in itself was good, but we got no development from him thus far, so it felt like the old Colin when it could have been more powerful had we gotten some more internal stuff from him. Why did we get any flashbacks of Penelope and Colin being friends?
I don't know. That was like a great place to capitalize on, and they just didn't fucking do it. So
we got flashbacks of the Duke, like being a kid, and like
we did.
Oh my god, whatever.
Yeah, different showrunners.
Yep.
I will say I wish I had Colin to talk me through it as well. So
when like objectively, the sex scene was really, really, really good.
It was. Okay? It was. When POV started playing, I screamed.
I screamed. I did. I screamed.
I was like, this soon? We're going to get it this soon? Like.
But, you know what? I still love it. But again, that song is so powerful.
It's
like,
so,
to me, that song would have made sense at the end when it's like everything's resolved, because that's the whole point of that song.
Thank you.
And they still hadn't figured out any other shit.
See, okay, that's why I said we're getting the song this soon, because it didn't fucking make sense when Colin still didn't completely know who she was. Oh my god. Okay. I literally can't.
I've literally. Oh my god. Okay. I had a note about happy that we heard Francesca and John actually speaking. I think that was really sweet. Yeah. I actually really like their relationship, but I don't have a ton to speak on it.
Yep, same.
I just have to say, I had this thought when I was watching. Like, Kate is mother, but she's also mother. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? Like, she really is the best person ever, but like so because she's like so pretty and so witty and like everything, like she is that girl, but then she's also so like maternal, and I love that we got to see that side of her now with like the Bridgerton kids versus like Edwina. Like Kate and Anthony stay winning
top
even
tier
in this season. Like they really are. I don't care.
Okay, wait. Can we talk about the fact when they played the stupid game that they do in like the little
I was gonna bring that up.
And fucking Anthony's like, forget me nots, lilacs, or like he's like
oh my god,
he's so into it.
I
was like, that's not
hard.
That's not Anthony. That's Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan. Yeah. Lennox. So funny. Oh my god.
So funny.
So they stay being the best.
Amazing. Yeah.
Literally.
See, okay, wait, sorry. One thing. That is how you do a side plot with them.
Yes. Literally.
That is how you do a side plot. I didn't need a lot of them. We got just enough that we could see that they were happy, that they were providing help and assistance, and also that we could see the future of what their relationship would be, and then they were gone.
Because every scene they had was intentional versus like
Yes!
with Benedict, those scenes were so unintentional. Like they didn't add anything, but like yeah. So whatever. Yeah. Oh, I know I'm gonna talk about this more, but I have to bring it up now because it's on my mind again. Because we're talking about Benedict's thing. This is the whole issue I have with Hollywood. Sometimes it's like, I am glad we are getting more diverse in what kind of relationships we're showing, what kind of people we're showing, whatever. But there's nothing that irks me more when things are just thrown in to be thrown in for no intention. It feels like such a slap in the face. I don't know. I just and you could say that with so many different things. It just pisses me off.
So here's the thing for me. You know that I don't mind Benedict's like his sideline in his story and stuff, just because he's a Bridgerton and I know we're building up to something regardless. Yeah. Here's my fucking problem. You are telling me that he engaged with Lady Ardnal just for funsies, and then when he wanted to do a threesome, he suddenly, like, got scared and juked out? When in season 2, he was literally doing the same fucking thing? Like, what was scary about that? And maybe it was scary. That's fine. Maybe Benedict was realizing that, like, oh my god, like, I was feeling real feelings for her, and that's really weird to me, because I thought we were gonna do something serious. And then, episode 8, he's like, oh, you want something serious? I thought we were just casual. That fucking pissed me off. Yeah. Because there was no consistency.
No, not at all. Like, I think Benedict's storyline with, like, art school and stuff was so interesting last season that I think that would have made way more sense for him to explore that then, or to kind of, I don't know. I just, again, another, whatever. I'm not even going to say anything else about that. I had a little snippet about just loving Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte's friendship. Like, Lady Danbury stays knowing everything, stays calling out Queen Charlotte, and I love that. Especially after having watched Queen Charlotte now and, like, their friendship. Cressida is an extremely frustrating character because one minute I hate her, the next I feel bad for her, the next I hate her. But I like it because that's what a character should be. It's fun. It keeps it interesting, whatever. So she was a very good character in my eyes.
She made part 2 interesting. If she didn't claim to be Lady Whistledown, this season would have been so fucking dumb. Like, because she forced Penelope to go and write, which then, we'll get to it, but she forced everyone's hand, and I was like, you know what, someone's got to do shit to make this interesting. So I was like, you go, girl.
Literally. Okay, I don't have much to say about this, but Portia Featherington is a hilarious character. I think she stays being funny. She will never not plot. Like, in these episodes, we randomly got moments where she started to soften to Penelope. But again, this is where the consistency for the character is, like, so whatever. I feel like Portia went back and forth to being slimy, but then kind to Penelope, and I kept getting whiplash. And I understand that that's part of the growing pains, and, like, Portia's gonna stay meddling, but, like, I don't know.
I was fine with it because she put that face on when Jack was in for season 2, because, like, she finally, like, was able to make a name for herself in high society and blah, 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 blah. She was very, like, fake in that way with the happiness. I saw that sense with her and Penelope because she was marrying a Bridgerton, which is such a hot, like, they are, like, the shit family that you want to make it in, right? So I understand, like, that kind of face that she was putting on, but I think as the season went on and the episodes kept going, I think it turned truly authentic because Portia finally found out who Penn truly was and, like, what she really loved to do. And I really liked that. I really, like, honestly, their relationship, like, mother-daughter, was, like, one of my favorites in this season.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. I like that perspective. That's good. I think that's all I have for the episode. Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty.
Okay. Episode 6. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's kind of long, but just bear with me.
It's okay.
The episode begins with the ton all abuzz at the news that Cressida is Whistledown, but the queen doesn't believe her, and Cressida is faced with an ultimatum of sorts to prove it. Penelope is sick at the idea that Cressida is taking credit for this empire she's built, attempting to write a new issue that discredits Cressida, but ultimately she's conflicted about whether maybe it's a good idea to let Cressida morph into Whistledown. Conversations with Eloise and the Modiste remind Penelope of the hard position she's in. She cannot be both Whistledown and a Bridgerton, while also acknowledging the joys the column has brought her. Francesca and Lord Kilmartin get engaged, but Violet is not ecstatic about the love match. Benedict enters a heated threesome with Lady Tilly and her friend Paul. When Cressida and her mother write a fake issue of Whistledown, Penelope is determined to write one last Whistledown to retire the column and discredit Cressida. On the way to the printing press, Colin catches Penelope and realizes she's Lady Whistledown. Okay, I have a question. Mm-hmm. Why? So this whole thing with, like, Cressida, which I understand that, like, she took credit because she needed an out from this marriage, which I understand. Sure. But why didn't Lord Debling come back and pursue her when Penn left him? You know what I mean?
Because that would have ruined the other storyline. Like, I don't have a good answer. Nothing makes sense.
He completely disappeared.
Like, this is a prime example of the issue with this season, where, like, these characters or these things happen for such a specific reason that they were dropped and taken out and not thought of, and everything was so all over the place.
Yes.
Because, like, that would have been the logical thing to Lord Devling to go to Cressida, and then...
Yeah, like, I don't understand. Because, like, Cressida was pursuing Lord Debling, and I don't understand why Lord Debling wouldn't pursue Cressida in return after Penn kind of, like, revealed that she still loved Colin. Like, I was like, dude, you still need to get married. Like, why aren't you? I don't know. It was fucking weird. Anyways. Okay. I think here's the thing. Okay. I want your thoughts on it, but Penelope's character turmoil was a lot for me. I honestly could not really follow it. I understand why she would want to give it up to marry Colin, right? She's like, she found a really nice man to marry, and I want to start out fresh and blah, 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 blah. But she gave it up so easily that when she wanted to finally come back, when Cressida claimed to be Whistledown, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, where is this coming from? Like, you gave it up so easily just a second ago, and now you're, like, fighting for it? Like, I think, obviously, the conversation with, like, Eloise and the Modiste helped her, but, like, I was just confused for a second there, because I feel like she built such a huge empire. Like, why wouldn't you want to fight for it? Like, why would you give it up so easily? And so I think it was just, like, the foundation that was laid that really made me fucking confused.
No, I 100% agree with everything you said. I felt like I liked Penelope's story arc, like I talked about, but again, I think it did flip-flop a lot, and this is what happened with a lot of the storylines. It's like they would go like this, but then they would drop because they needed to have tension, and then they would, like, pick up where they left off, and I'm like, this has no flow. And I felt like that especially came up with Penelope, and one of the things that I loved about her development this season was, like, the way that she was like, but I am Lady Whistledown, and that is a part of me, and whatever. Yes. So then the fact that she was so readily easy to give it up, which maybe that would have worked had we gotten some scenes of her actually, like, in inner turmoil or talking or whatever. Yes. But all we got was her heavy breathing against a door because she couldn't hang. Like, we need more than that.
And also, like, the conversation with, like, her mom, right? Of, like, how, like, marrying is, like, for security and blah, blah, blah. Which, like, yes, I fucking understand. But I just wanted, like, a little more turmoil. Portia basically said, like, ladies do not have dreams, they have husbands. Which I thought was a baller line. I was like, oh, yeah, Portia is speaking fucking facts. And I really think that kind of went through Penn's head of, like, this is what I gotta do. I have to give up Whistledown and blah, 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 blah. I agree that there needed to be more inner turmoil. And here is my fucking problem, okay? Yeah. My problem was that there were too many longing stares or too many scenes where there was just fucking silence of them looking at a piece of paper, or longingly staring into the hearth of burning flames. Like, they did this to try to imply characters' feelings or to foreshadow in the sense. but honestly just left me confused. I understand the sense of show, don't tell, but in a sense too, you need to walk the viewer with you as well. And I think because they had too many of those shots, it was a big disconnect, and I think that's why I felt so disconnected with Penn of like, why don't you want to fight for it more? I wish you had more dialogue that literally said your inner thoughts so that I could follow with you. I think there's a very fine balance of showing and telling for the viewers, but I think there was too much telling where I was like, what are you thinking? Like, I don't understand what you're thinking right now. For example, episode 5, I think this was what confused me too. When Violet looks at Francesca looking at Lord Kilmartin when they were at the ball. And like, remember when like Violet does like a double take at Francesca and like Francesca's like looking up at Lord Kilmartin. Yeah. It's like the sweetest thing. Like she's just so enamored by him. I thought she approved, like by realizing that like Francesca was happy. So I am happy. So that's why I was confused that like Violet was so against it. And then in episode 6, when Francesca is looking at Penn and Colin with Violet, again, like, I was like, I didn't realize that Francesca was, like, peeved at Violet for treating Penn and Colin more or better than her and Lord Kilmartin. And then episode 8 with Lady Tilly's long glance at Benedict, and then episode 8 with all the fucking letters from that Colin rereads, and then episode 8 when Francesca meets Lord Kilmartin's cousin. Like, all of these longing glances, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Can someone tell me what's happening? Like, I don't understand. Anyways, so those were my complaints, and I do have some compliments on this episode.
Okay.
I really, really loved Colin and Penn dancing in the church when she, like, first tells him that, like, I love you. Like, I've loved you since I've, like, first met you. I love that so much. And then when Confidence started playing when Cressida walked into the ball, I was like, oh, she's that bitch. She is that bitch.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was good.
But that was one of those songs where, like, it felt like I couldn't help but hear the like song in my head while I was hearing that. Like, it felt so, but I loved it. Yeah. I was like, it was a good moment. Cressida.
Yeah.
With you and your big sleeves in your hair, like, go off.
Yeah. Okay, that is episode 6. I'm sorry. That was a lot.
No, I think I said way more for episode 5, so whatever. Okay, here's my summary for episode 7 is even longer than 5, so I apologize.
Okay.
The thing I'm realizing as we go on is, like, I am having the same complaints come up, but just different examples. So
yes.
Episode 7. The episode begins with Colin finding out Penelope is Lady Whistledown. Colin blamed himself for something being off with Penelope and then says he'll never forgive her and walks away. The Whistledown issue Cressida writes is then distributed, which is incredibly rude towards the Bridgertons. A second Lady Whistledown is then given out, which makes it clear Cressida is not Whistledown. We then see Cressida being scolded and told she's going to be sent away to her aunt. Eloise and Penelope then chat while walking the ton about Cressida claiming to be Whistledown, and surprisingly, Eloise is happy to see Penelope writing again. Penelope then shares the stress of telling Colin the truth, and Eloise says she cannot help her, even though Penelope says Eloise is the truest friend she's ever known. Lady Danbury and Violet then discuss Francesca's situation and how to best support the coupling. Violet then shares she will always be there for her no matter what, meaning Lady Danbury. Eloise is then confronted by Colin when Eloise shared she couldn't tell him because she was too heartbroken and didn't want to break his as well. Penelope then speaks to Colin, who says he will not break their proposal because he is honorable, and Penelope says she didn't want to trap him because she loves him. Penelope then shares she doesn't know if she'll stop writing Whistledown. We then see Tilly talking to Benedict about her and Paul's situation where they have a casual relationship because Paul also enjoys being with men. Tilly then speaks about how attraction is the most pure thing, which that speech, I was like, why? Anyways, Marcus then calls Violet and they talk about how they both must get their affairs in order prior to pursuing one another, but they do clearly have interest for each other. Lady Cowper and Cressida then discuss what Cressida will be sent away and the issues their fake issue of Whistledown has created. Cressida then mourns friendship with Eloise when Lady Cowper says it's every person for themselves. Penelope and Genevieve then discuss what is going on in Penelope's life, and Genevieve encourages her to not focus on past mistakes, but rather on embracing true love, which means being fully yourself and honest. Penelope and Colin then have a moment at night as Penelope is leaving Genevieve's, and when Colin questions what Penelope is doing, and Penelope questions him back, Penelope then apologizes for the damage she has caused, even though it was well-intentioned. Then Penelope shared she wrote about Colin because she wants a kind, vulnerable version of him back. Penelope then says she can take care of herself, and they share a passionate kiss. Colin then has a heart-to-heart with Kate and Anthony. Marcus and Lady Danbury also have a heart-to-heart where we hear more about both of their relationships with their father and how they should have been supporting each other rather than blaming each other. Queen Charlotte has a line of people claiming to have information about Whistledown. Penelope and Colin get married, and they don't have much chance during the reception to talk. Kate and Anthony then talk about going to India for the birth of their child so their child can be connected to Kate's family and culture. Penelope and Colin then have some resolve, and they begin dancing together. John and Francesca then dance together as well, with this being part of John's boldness. The Queen then comes to the party and makes everyone leave except the Bridgertons. When no one fesses up to being Whistledown, the Queen decides to back off for now. Colin expresses he's happy Penelope did not reveal herself right then. Penelope then gives a speech about being a woman and not having choices, but being Whistledown is a choice she wants to make. Eloise then holds Penelope and tells her it'll be alright, even though Colin decides to not share a bed on their wedding night. Benedict then approaches Tilly and Paul and ends up kissing them. Cressida then finds an apprentice at a print shop who has information on Whistledown's identity. So what?
So
it's
much
like exhausting.
whiplash.
It's so much whiplash. It's insane.
I don't understand. Okay.
Okay, I think most of the things I have are things I have already said, so I'm just gonna like run through them quick.
Okay.
First, Colin, one thing I do know about his character is he loves absolutes and he loves the drama. I'll never forgive you. I'll never speak to you ever again.
He does.
Like
It's fucking
sometimes
ridiculous.
I just need him to take a chill pill.
Yeah, calm
whatever.
down, bro.
Literally. I did really enjoy the way that both Whistledowns came at the same time. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Tension, and I thought that the fact that Penelope kind of anticipated that Cressida wouldn't have much of a leg to stand on, and then called Cressida out, being like, if she were Lady Whistledown, she would have wrote about this and this.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really smart of Penelope.
Yes, I agree.
I do feel like this episode redeemed Eloise for me a little bit, because like I was saying, I felt really annoyed by her, but I think, you know, her conversation with Colin, and then her conversation with Penelope saying like, I can appreciate what you're going through, but like I'm not going to put myself in the middle of you and my brother anymore. And like I just really I think that is the communication I needed from her.
Yes.
Like that was what I needed. Like I feel like we actually saw more why she was doing what she was doing versus her just like being petty for no reason.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, and then again, just hitting on the same thing, the moment where like Eloise started crying because she's like, I didn't want you, Colin, to be heartbroken too, when like Colin confronts her about knowing again. And she later on, I think in episode 8 or whatever, she cries at the wedding, which I also thought, I don't know, I like seeing that side of Eloise, and that's why we all love her. Okay, I brought this up earlier, but just to mention again, like this felt like Penelope season and not Polin season. Like her saying to Colin she doesn't know if she'll stop writing for Whistledown felt really cool. Like she's becoming unafraid to admit she likes that part of herself, but like it was more about her personal journey than their romantic journey, and like I think that really hindered the season, you know?
Like what role, I mean, okay, I understand that like her being Lady Whistledown then threatens the Bridgerton name, but like what else to take it a step further to affect Colin himself other than like, you lied to me, I'm never gonna blah blah blah, like all that stupid shit. Like what else? How does it affect? I don't know.
And we already got the confrontation with him and Penelope about how Penelope was like, I only wrote about you because I miss the Colin that I know.
Yes.
So that part already got explained. So now why are you still holding on to this? But
yes,
like,
exactly.
Oh
he felt so static. Like there were so many different ways, so many ways in for him to like change and like really start on that character arc, but like nothing.
No, nothing. So
I was
annoying.
confused in this episode because they kind of made up, but then they didn't when the queen came back in.
Again,
what does that
no
mean? Like,
consistency.
what happened? I don't understand. I honestly don't understand.
Maybe he kind of, I'm trying to think what they were thinking, and maybe it was just like he was finally kind of starting to come to terms with it, but then the fact that the queen came and like became so involved and kind of like threatened them, maybe he was like, oh, this is serious, and actually this is a big deal, like I was making it before, and like I don't know if that was part of it. But again, why should I have to figure this out?
Yes, literally. You should be telling me this shit.
Literally,
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Good point.
I have a whole paragraph about Benedict, Tilly, and Paul, but we already talked about that, and
Yeah.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
I
okay.
hated that as
Great.
much as I hated the Mondricks, but whatever.
Really? Really? Okay.
Like, not that it wasn't fun to watch, but like, what's the point? Sorry.
I mean, I didn't mind it. Again, I really like Benedict. I think he's fun. But
Well, I love Benedict, but that's the thing. I loved him, and then I'm like, this didn't. I just don't feel like this was the avenue or like the best way they could have shown that like he doesn't know himself and wants to find more for himself.
Okay, you're right.
Like,
You're right.
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. You're
Whatever.
right.
I could go on and on about that. Okay. Here is one thing I really loved about this episode, okay?
Okay.
Genevieve, Madame Delacroix, and Penelope's conversation.
Really
I
good.
think this is one of the most pure, like, thing that made the most sense for this season. Like, I
Yeah.
think, number one, Madame Delacroix's a boss. Obviously, she's
Yeah.
running her own business as a single woman. She's living her life.
Yeah.
And she's the only one telling Penelope, like, don't give up on your dream. Like, you can have a dream. I had a dream, and I did it. Like, you deserve that. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't know, it was nice to see Penelope have a friendship outside of Eloise as well, and
Yeah.
outside of the Bridgertons, you know?
Yeah.
I really, really like that conversation.
Yeah, me too.
So the wedding. It was so anticlimactic that like
Yeah.
they had the cute dance, and then they like basically she was unsure if they were going to get married, but then he nodded to her and she seemed happy, and then they got married, but then they were back to arguing all of a sudden, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, what is happening? Like, I don't understand where they're at in this relationship. Whereas if you look back at Daphne's season, it's like it was very fucking clear that both of them were very upset that this was happening, and they still had to go through it, but they were lying through their fucking teeth to get married. You know,
Literally.
like it's like we knew that. I did not know the context of what was fucking happening in Colin's and Penelope's brain.
Again, it was one of the stairs where Colin
Yes!
nodded, and I got the impression that everything was going to be okay,
yes.
and then it wasn't. So
And I'm
I
like,
was
then
like,
why the fuck did you nod? Like, see,
literally.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I had a little thing. I did like the tension of the queen coming in and be like, nah, it's one of you
Yes.
Bridgertons.
Yes, yeah.
But that's all I have to say about that episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. Last episode. Last
episode.
episode. Episode 8, okay? Here is my long summary. The day after their wedding, Colin and Penelope face a frosty start to their marriage. Colin spends the night on the couch and leaves early the next morning. Penelope's troubles worsen when Cressida blackmails her for £10,000, threatening to reveal her identity as Lady Whistledown. Cressida exposes Penelope to her mother, Portia, leading to a tense confrontation. Portia demands secrecy to avoid annulment, but Penelope is determined to take control. Penelope and Portia inform Colin and Eloise of Cressida's scheme. Colin's attempt to negotiate with Cressida fails, increasing her demands. Despite feeling sidelined, Penelope takes charge, sharing her Whistledown identity with Queen Charlotte and the Bridgerton family. At a ball, Penelope publicly confesses, earning the Queen's leniency and surprising the ton. Penelope's assertiveness rekindles her relationship with Colin, who acknowledges her strength and independence. They reconcile, and Colin admires her bravery. Meanwhile, other Bridgertons experience personal growth. Benedict explores his romantic boundaries. Violet supports Francesca's marriage. Fucking finally, Eloise joins Francesca and Lord Kilmartin in Scotland with his cousin. The episode concludes with a flash forward revealing Penelope and Colin as the happy parents and both successful authors, with Penelope retiring Lady Whistledown to write under her own name. I don't even know where to begin, honestly. Like, this is crazy. Like,
sorry,
I
was laughing in between your summary because I'm like, what the heck happened?
I don't yeah, okay, so let's just start from the top.
Yeah.
I was pretty gagged when Cressida, like, exposed Penelope to Portia right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked those stakes. I didn't think that she would do it.
Yeah.
It was very wild. It was very fun. Like, I enjoyed it. And it obviously pushed the plot forward. Mm-hmm. Here's my biggest pet peeve. It's that everyone was talking about the plan of what they do with Cressida, and they left Penelope out of the conversation. When it was Portia, Colin, and Eloise, I was like, Penelope literally has 10,000 pounds that she can pay Cressida off, and you guys are just keeping her out of it. Like, of course she's gonna fucking write Lady Whistledown. If I'm being sidelined like this all the fucking time, like, yeah, I would write a fucking column. You know what I mean?
This just felt like we're on episode 8 now, and like we're still at this point where you're ignoring Penelope.
Yes!
And I get it. This is her wound. But like Eloise and Colin are also the people who are supposedly not doing this to her. And then you're
Yes!
I was just like, what?
This was so dumb. It was so dumb. Yeah, I was like, honestly, that would have been my 13th reason, and I would have just kept writing Lady Whistledown. Like,
literally,
that's,
like,
I can't, like, what else do I have to prove to you that I'm worthy?
Literally.
That, like, I can handle this shit by myself? Like, oh my god, I was so annoyed.
God, she sucks. Well, not she sucks. Just.
Yeah. The closure with Lady Danbury and Violet was very nice. Honestly, like, I was not expecting it, but it was very nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was one of the subplots with, like, Lady Danbury and Violet and Lady
Marcus.
Danbury's brother, which I think Marcus, I think it was a really beautiful tie-in to Queen Charlotte, and you saw the little crown at the end, and, like,
it was so cute.
That was one of the side plots that I felt like did make sense for the plot.
Yeah.
It tied everything together. It, like, so I did really like that as well. And I think their friendship is really, like, beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Penelope and Colin's conversation after Francesca's wedding, okay? I think this is one of my favorite conversations that, like, Penn has, like, declared. Because she basically says, like, I don't need you to save me, I just need you to stand by me. And I'm like, yes, that's all that Penelope has needed this entire fucking time, you guys. Like,
just someone on her side.
Yes, she literally doesn't need you to do anything else. Just literally be there to support her. Like, she has no one else. And I'm like, this is all that she needed. And like, Colin is just doing too fucking much. And she's literally told you, Colin, that she just wants you. Like, she just wants the kind, vulnerable you. And you keep being too fucking extra. Okay, like, let's calm the fuck down. I just couldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Benedict and Eloise conversation on the swings. I really love the callback to, like, season 1 and season 2 when they're on the swings. And I also love that it's, like, they're the next Bridgertons on the docket for the season.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated, like, them at least giving us, like, a little sneak peek, which I think it's gonna be Benedict's season because Eloise is off at fucking Scotland.
Well, the way that they ended it with Benedict standing alone in that hallway or whatever, like, if it's not Benedict, that wouldn't make any sense.
And he literally he literally said on the swings that he's, like, afraid that the next thing that comes to him will change him forever, or whatever that bullshit.
So it has to be
definitely him. Yeah.
I also think that makes the most sense because then we can focus on Benedict, and then the next seasons would very much be Eloise and Francesca because they're in Scotland, you know, and anyways.
Yeah. Okay, the ball scene, right? This is the final ball scene, okay? Here's the thing. I do not like when information is clearly hidden from us to pull a stunt off like they pulled that off at the ball. I hate that in books too, right? When we clearly see, like, Penn is scheming, but it's not being revealed until the end, so all this tension can build. I honestly just fucking hate it, and I'm so annoyed because I'm like, what just happened? Like, when she wrote to Queen Charlotte and to Violet revealing herself, I was like, what is that letter? What is that?
Okay, can I just say something that I was thinking as you were talking before? Like, even when Colin was reading Penelope's letter and letters and all this, why didn't we get the voiceover of Penelope reading it? Or why didn't we get the voiceover of what the letter to Queen Charlotte and Violet sounded like? I don't understand.
Why are we inferring all this? Like, you need to tell me. Literally. Because I was so confused.
Literally. And same with Colin's journals. That became a huge argument with them where Penelope was like, but your writing is good. Just because mine is too doesn't mean yours is less than. But I'm like, we have no idea what his writing is or sounds like. We know it's about Europe, but why didn't we hear her writing?
I know.
Reading some of it out loud or I don't know.
Like, it was such a miss on that. Because, like, their letters were such, like, a core part of their relationship. I feel like that's something that you can play upon with, like, friends to lovers. And it was literally fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I did like Penn's speech, albeit she hid all this fucking info to pull off a stunt like this. I did like the way that she, like, came into the center and, like, talked about how, like, she felt alone and power and blah, 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 blah. I did like it, but I was still annoyed. Okay. I also did love Colin's speech to Penn after, like, the whole debacle thing that happened at the ball. But for me, it was a little too late. Like, I couldn't... Like, he was saying, like, oh my god, like, what you just did was bloody brilliant. I was like, homeboy, she's been bloody brilliant this entire motherfucking time, and you've just been blind.
Literally, and here's the thing, we got moment again. The up and downs made no sense.
Yes!
That wasn't believable. I was like,
no.
We already knew Penelope was brilliant.
Yes.
You had already said Penelope was brilliant because of her letters and all these things, and it's like... I just, God, fuck. The more we talk about this, the more annoyed I get, honestly.
Yeah, right?
I started this by saying I'm in the middle, but now I think I'm just pissed.
It's just, it honestly is so disjointed that it doesn't make sense, and it's so incredibly disappointing. And, like, okay. My last thing for this episode is that I did gasp when Lady Whistledown's voiceover transitioned to Penn's. I wonder if they're still going to have Julie Andrews do voiceovers, because I feel like it's so much of a classic that to lose her feels very un-Bridgerton-like, but I do want to, like, also acknowledge that, like, Penn coming to the end and, like, signing her name is, like, a very big character statement, so, like, having Julie Andrews still would kind of revert that, so I don't know what they're going to do.
I honestly think we are going to lose it, because I think if we didn't, as much as I wanted to be there, because I love Julie Andrews, like, obviously it's iconic, but, like, I think if we went back to that, it almost, like, switched back to Penelope hiding herself, where that was, like, such a significant thing that it switched to her voice.
Watch, they're going to have Julie Andrews in the next season 4 trailer. That's what they're going to fucking do.
Actually, Julie Andrews is now going to be a character in the show. A lady whistled down from another town.
Oh my god.
Honestly, may as well just, like, throw it in every direction at this point. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, that was it. Yeah.
I have one. Which can I, for those of you listening, and if you're okay with this, Selena, this might potentially be a spoiler for future seasons with Francesca's story, but I just want to bring this up.
Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. I know her spoiler.
So I know some spoilers about that, and so stop listening if you don't want to hear it. But I heard that people are upset that they gender swapped Michael to Michaela, not because Lord Kilmorton's cousin Michaela at the end. Francesca's real love interest is Michael, who is supposedly John's best friends in the book. They gender swapped this person.
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Do you want to hear the plot? Can I tell you so? Okay.
Yes.
So basically, apparently in the books, Francesca is in love with John, whatever. It's really good. Michael is John's best friend.
Yes.
Then John dies.
Yes. Yep, I heard that.
And that's how Michael and whatever. But I guess, and I don't know if this part is true because I haven't heard a ton about it, but apparently part of Francesca's storyline is infertility issues. And that's, like, a huge thing. And so I wonder how that's going to play out now with that role being gender swapped. Okay. Which, here's the thing.
This makes sense now because Francesca's look to his cousin confused the fuck out of me. Yeah. Because I was like, why are you stumbling over your words?
No,
like,
exactly.
What is happening?
But that's also the thing people are upset about, because it's like in the books, like, Francesca was so in love with John that, like, she wasn't really looking at Michael until after, like, the death. And I think I'm just curious to see how that play out, because again, I haven't read the book, so whatever I say might not be totally accurate, but if part of Francesca's struggle is infertility, the fact that that's the character you choose to gender swap feels like a little bit of a slap in the face to that representation for women who have infertility issues.
I mean,
so
I understand. I understand if they want to do, like, if Lord Kilmartin does die in the next season and Francesca pursues a relationship with Michaela. Like, I understand how big a lesbian relationship within this Bridgerton sphere would be, but I agree with you that it's, like, so interesting that they would swap that when it could be such a really great commentary on her infertility and all of that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the only thing I'm like, and again, I don't know the other storylines to come. Like, for example, way down the line, I'm thinking of, I don't know what Hyacinth's
I don't know her
relationship
either.
is like. I don't really know what Eloise is. I don't know how that's gonna play out. I know who it's supposed to be, but I'm like, could we have gender swapped another relationship that might fit more than, like, potentially now slighting a big part of Francesca's storyline that I think a lot of women were excited to see, because obviously women with infertility issues is not really a thing that's talked about very much. So I think we'll see how it plays out. This is all speculation, but I think it's worth just, like, keeping an eye on to see how it plays out, and, like, whatever. And I don't want to speak too much. Again, I haven't read the books. I'm not willing to judge yet. But that would be my only issue with the gender swap, is if that part gets cut out, because I feel like that's important.
You know what, Theoni? You know what we should do? Next year when we start a book club, or we could even start, like, later this year, we can go through every single Bridgerton book together. That'd be our read for each month.
Wait! That's the best idea.
We start with, like, number 1 and go, keep going. Every month we do a Bridgerton book together.
I'm down. I'm in. I'm so in.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on Bridgerton season 3? Okay.
Nope. That's the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we made it through.
I know we did.
Obviously, we don't love it, but you know what? I am hopeful they'll redeem themselves. Please. I hope that either they get a different showrunner, or
no, she's on for season 4.
Okay. So I just hope she takes notes and, like, turns around, because
this was a hot mess, girly.
It was a hot mess, girly. But you can do better. Just get back on the track. You got this. Selena, you want to tell everyone what we're talking about next week?
Yes, we will be doing a ranking episode, one of our favorite classics. We don't know what we're ranking yet, but I guarantee you it'll be such a great conversation, because we always get pretty heated about it. We're like,
we do.
What's your number 1? Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.